everyone, welcome back to the For Living Writers YouTube channel. I'm Rachel Latterby, an MFA student here at SDSU, and I am super excited to talk about all the books we read this fall 2021 semester in Living Writers with Megan Marshall. So I figured it might be kind of fun to talk about the books that we read and then do book pairings. So really just recommendations for further reading. But on the vein of, if you like this particular novel in class, I think you'd really enjoy this one. So yeah, here's the lineup. Let's just get right into it. So first things first, we have Blood Histories by Terracillian Whitehead. And this is a deliciously deceptive little novel. And I say that because at first glance, it's maybe unassuming, you might think it's a zine, okay? Do not discount it, because I'm the kind of person that looks at this and thinks, okay, I'm gonna breeze through this hour tops with annotation. And then really what ended up happening was each word was so holds its weight, and each sentence so perfectly crafted. I mean, every part of this novel was so thought out by the author and her publishers, and you can really tell. I mean, even so if you look at it, it's designed like a CD cover, and then it has, I don't know if you can see that, but it has the track list with corresponding music lengths of time for how long the piece is. So just every little thing like that make it such a cool book to read. So if you liked Blood Histories, I think you would really get a kick out of Bestiary by K. Ming Chang. And it's funny because I come back to this book a lot because I had a very visceral reaction reading this book. There came a time when I was reading this book and I thought, am I going to pass out? And it's not because anything is necessarily that grotesque. It's just that Chang really talks about the piss and puke of life. And I mean, this book is a total trip in all senses of the word, just like Blood History. It's just a wild trip. And I'm just gonna read the little synopsis, just a little bit of it, because it really is, it's wild. One evening, mother tells daughter a story about a tiger spirit who lived in a woman's body. She hungered to eat children, especially their toes. Soon afterward, daughter awakes with a tiger tail, and more mysterious events follow. So I won't give too much away, but I think if you like Blood Histories, please check out Bestiary. Alrighty, next up, Pinata Theory by Cesaro. And this is a collection of poetry centered around the idea of a pinata. And it's really interesting because you don't really think about it, but pinatas also have life stages, and when you kind of sit down and think about it, it's kind of poetic in a way. You have someone, lovingly crafting with paper mache this pinata for their children's birthday party or for some sort of celebration, and you fill it up with candy, and then there's this very violent act of destroying it and kind of getting into its meaty inner workings and the kind of savagery behind that for the ultimate end prize of collecting your candy. So all of the poems are kind of centered around the building, the breaking, the gathering up. And it's just a really cool thing. It touches on a lot of pop culture references, stuff like that. And if you enjoyed Pinata Theory, I would definitely give Finna by Nate Marshall a try. It's also a poetry collection, and it's centered around the various connotations of the word finna. And I don't know if you can see, but it actually has a definition from the author with the phonetic spelling and all that stuff. So I figured I would read just the definition because I feel like it kind of encapsulates what this collection is trying to do. But definition of finna created by the author. So 1, going to, intending to, rooted in African American vernacular English. 2, I dialect spelling of fixing to. 3, black possibility, black futurity, blackness as tomorrow. And I mean, this is really just a celebration of Black vernacular, and it tells it through its influence in pop culture and just the family life. It makes you very intimate with dialect, Black vernacular. It's very, it's a really cool collection. I think you should check it out, especially if you like Pinata theory. Alrighty, next up, I'm gonna show Things We Lost to the Water by Nguyen. So this one uses water as a kind of through line to tell two different family stories. So you have, the refugee coming to America, immigration story, and then you also have the story of a first generation and assimilation, maybe loss of culture, and then it's kind of in this way using water to say how water can take you away from family, but it can also bring you back. So when you have like the whole Hurricane Katrina, that storyline. So yeah, if you liked Things We Lost to the Water, I think you would like Why We Swim by Bonnie Sue. Let me see, I probably pronounced that wrong, but Why We Swim. And what's interesting about this is that she is examining water through human behavior, why humans have evolved through water in different waterways and how it's shaped even our behaviors. So it's just really intense examination of bodies of water and different natural events surrounding water. And I just think it kind of fits so perfectly. It's very complementary to Things We Lost to Water, even though it is technically nonfiction, more memoir in that regard. Okay, finally, I don't have physical copies to the last two books we read in class. I actually dabbled with an e-reader for the first time in my entire life and was pleasantly surprised. But I still want to talk about these books because they're fabulous, both of them. The first book that I wanted to speak on, though, was Women Who Misbehave by Scion Desgupta. And it's a short story collection about, as you might guess, women who misbehave, but it kind of puts misbehaviors on this continuum. So you have maybe a female misbehavior that the female's not behaving according to societal expectations. She's smoking cigarettes, she's wearing an outfit her parents don't like. To then on the other end of the spectrum, you have a woman who beheads her entire family. So it's really this wide breadth of female misbehavior, and it's just so nice to find yourself in a story. I don't know, it's just a really cool experience. It stays with you. So if you liked Women Who Misbehave, I'm going to recommend a book that I always recommend. It's one of my favorite books of all time. It's The God of Small Things by Hunty Roy. You might have already read it. This book has been out for like a couple decades now. But it's just stayed with me since the very first time I've ever read it. I've never been able to forget this book. And without giving too much away, I would say the kernel, the seed of this book is centered around female misbehavior. So if you haven't already, please, please, please check out this book because it's really good. It's one of my top 5 favorites of all time. Alrighty, last but certainly not least, I'm going to end with Ordinary Beasts by Nicole Seeley. And this is a poetry collection. So when I was thinking of things that I wanted to recommend as complimentary reading for it, I actually ended up going with a collection of short stories by Randall Keenan called If I Had Two Wings. And in class, we kind of talked about beginnings and ends, and this was actually Keenan's penultimate book. He unfortunately passed away in August of 2020, I want to say, and I had pre-ordered this book before he had passed. So by the time I got it, it was kind of more bittersweet than anything else. But if you haven't read anything by Keenan, he is just an amazing, phenomenal Black author that we definitely lost too soon, and I feel like I needed to give him some sort of little shout out. And I think that if you enjoyed Ordinary Beasts and you're down to kind of dabble in other things besides just poetry, definitely give this collection of short stories a chance. It's centered around magical realism. It's just a lot of the motifs that Seeley uses in her collection are present here, which I thought was really cool. And yeah, definitely check him out. Alrighty, well that's it. I had such a fun semester with you all. It's so nice to see your guys' faces for the first time this whole semester. And yeah, to play along with the Zoom joke, get home safe. Bye.